Laurie, Lane-Zucker, founder and CEO of Impact Entrepreneur, and this is an Impact Entrepreneur TV special presentation, COVID Capital Relief for Entrepreneurs. Impact Entrepreneur is a global network of systems-minded change makers, 23,000 entrepreneurs, investors, scholars, and students of social and environmental innovation who believe that this work needs to be done within a transformational framework. We build companies, we invest in them, but we also understand that we have to collaborate to build a new business paradigm and ecosystem around them in order to find an authentically sustainable way forward. And so if you agree with this last statement and are not yet a member, please join the network. It is free. The only entry fee is your commitment to the business of change. You can join the network and learn about our work at www.impactalchemist.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel in order to be notified when new pandemic programs and other IETV exclusive content drops. And show us what you think of our programming by liking this video and sharing your thoughts in the comments. In this first of our pandemic broadcasts, I am excited to share with you a very important project that was just released by our friends at Duke University. CASE, the Center for the Advancement of Social Entrepreneurship at Duke's Fuqua School of Business, has created a one-stop shop for any entrepreneur in the world, for-profit or nonprofit, currently struggling due to COVID-19 and its economic impacts, to find cash relief sources in just a few clicks. The site is www.covidcap.com, covidcap.com. It currently lists over 250 regional, national, and global cash relief offers launched in the last few weeks and worth over $362 billion. It is being updated daily. CASE launched it last week, crowdsourced the listings, and are now trying to build out more listings and get the word out so that the resources can be found and applied for in real time. In this special IETV program, we have with us the faculty director of CASE, Cathy Clark, who will give us a short presentation to orient us to the COVID CAP resource and then answer a few questions that I will pose to her about the platform. Now, named in 2014 as one of the top 20 women in the USA working in philanthropy, social innovation, and civic engagement, Cathy Clark has been an active pioneer, researcher, educator, and consultant for over 25 years in the fields of impact investing and social entrepreneurship. As I mentioned, she serves as faculty director at the CASE Center at Duke University, where she founded and directs the CASE I3 initiative on impact investing and leads the social entrepreneurship accelerator at Duke, an accelerator working to scale impact of global health ventures in India and East Africa. She's also the lead author of CASE's online learning series for impact entrepreneurs, CASE Smart Impact Capital, and co-author of CASE's Scaling Pathways series in partnership with Skoll Foundation, USAID Global Development Lab, and Mercy Corps. I should also mention that Cathy was the featured guest in one of our fireside chat webinars last year entitled Impact Investing's Demand Side, Are Entrepreneurs Getting What They Need to Succeed? That program is one of the most requested and viewed in our entire archive of past programs, and it is currently being featured on IETV. So just go to our channel's homepage to find it. Cathy, welcome. It's all yours.
Thank you so much, Laurie. I'm so delighted to be back as part of your channel and offerings. And I'm also just delighted that you reached out so fast to lend a hand in our effort to support entrepreneurs during this pretty tough time as we're just a few weeks into the COVID-19 crisis. So I just thought maybe I'd start by giving a little background as to what we've created and why, and then do a little walkthrough, and then I'm happy to answer a few questions about it. So, we saw that a lot of businesses were being asked to shut down in the US and around the world, given the COVID-19 crisis a few weeks ago. And so we started looking around to say, well, what are the resources that are available to these entrepreneurs if they have cash problems? And I actually had this directly impact me because I had two businesses in my local community in North Carolina that closed the first week that our schools were closed. And these were actually very large, successful businesses. And I thought, oh my goodness, if this is happening to businesses that have significant resources, what's going to happen to all the other ones? And so we Googled and we realized two things. We realized that there were actually quite a lot of resources that had already started to become available at the state and local level, as well as at the global level, but that they were very hard to understand and find, and that often the application information was kind of buried, and you couldn't tell until you spent a lot of time on the sites how much money they were actually offering. And so I thought, well, could I do this better? Could I make it easier for people to find these? The second thing I did is I looked around, and within the social impact community, there's a lot of impact investors and other intermediaries that were making lists. And I looked at those lists and I said, the problem with these lists is they're all text, they're not searchable. You can't tell what's the difference between different lists, and you can't quickly tell which one has capital and which one has advice. And I thought, if I were an entrepreneur, I would want to know really fast, am I clicking on something that could give me $5,000 or $1 million? That's going to make a difference as to whether I spend the time there. And so we started really simply. We started taking things that other people had in their lists on their websites and putting them into an Excel spreadsheet. And then I just shared it with my network. And this thing kind of barreled because I was, getting used to my kids at home and trying to figure out how to Zoom with my students. And in the middle of this, all of a sudden we had a sheet with 90 items on it, which was longer than most of the other lists that I had seen. And I thought, oh, I think we have something here that is worth sharing. So I got online, I spent a day searching for different apps that could create a website based on a Google Sheet. And I found one, and I built this site, and it's completely flawed and hopefully completely useful for people. And that was out, within a day. We also noticed that a lot of the resources that we were listing had deadlines that were 2 or 3 days after. So we just this complete sense of urgency to say, how can we create a resource that would allow entrepreneurs very quickly to search for the cash relief, either grants or loans or cash equivalents like tax rebates or fee rebates or other things that they could look to and get a really quick sense of what's available to them.
So not everyone could do this and do this as quickly as you did. Probably, arguably, no one could have done this certainly as quickly as you did. I am guessing that having spent as much time as you have putting together the Smart Impact Capital platform, which I believe is, in my opinion, is the best tool for learning about the impact investing space that exists out there, that kind of knowledge base that you've already built was extremely helpful, and at least knowing where to look for these resources. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think that is accurate. We definitely have relationships and very strong relationships with a lot of entrepreneur intermediaries all over the world, as well as with big partners that have actually come in the last week, like USAID, which is a major funding partner, the US government, who cares about impact entrepreneurship broadly as a tool for development, as well as some other partners that have joined us, like Living Cities, which cares about the health of low-income populations around the US, Mission Investors Exchange, which is a network of philanthropists that care about impact investing, and Big Society Capital, which is an intermediary in the UK. So we were able very quickly to reach out to a lot of what I would call intermediary institutions that exist between the entrepreneurs dealing with their own cash needs and the larger sources of capital, which many of which are government and some of which are private, and reach out to them and say, what do you have? What form do you have it in? And can you join it to what we're doing? And I honestly I don't think the site that we've built is all that great. I would love to rebuild it, honestly. And I'm hoping that maybe some wonderful technology firm would jump in to donate their services to help us make it a little bit more robust. But it's a shell. And as a shell, it allows anybody to put in any listing, and then the people who are visiting the site to find what they need really easily. And I feel like that's our innovation. And maybe the most important thing is that I saw it as a database and a searchable database. Most of the other, there's so many other lists out there right now. And there's no way that we are comprehensive of all of them. Most of them are sharing other Excel spreadsheets, and it's very difficult to figure out how to find what you need. And so, and a little bit the innovation is just making it a master database.
Can you show us a little bit about the what you have there on the platform?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Great.
So this is our site, which is at covidcap.com. And it is divided, the main menu is actually on the bottom. What I'm showing you now is the dashboard, which you can get to by clicking on this menu icon and clicking on dashboard. All of the relief listed is in the left column, and I'll show you how that works. The middle is what is the size of the pool available by each resource. We have over 300 resources in here now. We added another 100 over the weekend. But we start with the 350 billion that the US government put into the SBA Paycheck Protection Program the day that we launched this. We also, and it goes down from there, and you can scroll down these, and many of them do not have a pool listed, and so they're blank, but they're still listed. Then we have a list that are just grants, so money that you can get that you don't need to pay back, and then just loans, money that you can get where it has some sort of term of payback. And so all of these are searchable. So I'm going to show you a few things that you can do. So let's say you are in another country outside the US. You can click on national and very quickly run through and say, well, wait a minute, I'm actually in South Africa. What's available to me? You get a listing of what's available, and each one of these brings up the single resource. They all have links. And that's probably the most important thing here. What were you going to say, Laurie?
Well, a quick question. So the geography is based on where the organization seeking funds is located, or is it also related to where an organization is active, producing their programming? So
it's usually where they're producing their programming, but to be very honest, we put these things in here so fast that we weren't able to distinguish. What the general rationale here is that if the offering is for something that's a piece of a country, it's going to be listed as regional. If the offering is for a whole country, it's going to be listed as national. And if the offering is for one or two or more countries, it's going to be listed under global. So you're going to want to, the location that you are in or that you are serving is probably a little bit blended in there. So I was just going to, showing you the national listing. The regional listings tend to, at the moment, be mostly in the US. Just because that's the data that we've gotten. We were trying to make it neutral, but so far that's the data that we have. You can search by state, you can search by city, you can search by county. There are a tremendous amount of resources in there. And then the global resources are the ones, again, that cross more than one country. Many of them are based in the US, but then will fund across the world. And there's quite a few in there. And there's quite a few under the global category. The other thing that I want to recommend that people know how to do is to use our search. So if you click on the magnifying glass, you can search for anything up here. You can say, I really just want to know things that are in California. And it will pop up all of the things in the grant category and all the things in the loan category that are in California, that list California. So wanted to show, how robust this is as we add more resources. It's all still searchable. We also have a button down here called Host, and Host allows you to search by the organization that is offering the relief. So if you want to see whether somebody's listed, or you want to list yourself, or you're a corporation and you're thinking about making an offer, this is a place to look for yourself. And if you're not in here, if you go to covidcap.com, we now have a link on our landing page that allows you to add resources. And so we're trying, it's only been a week and a half. What we're trying to do is turn this from all this information in the world has to go through a few people to get back out to the site, to a distributed model. And so what we're doing now is we're working with volunteers in several organizations. Mission Investors Exchange has stepped up big time and been the first to help, but now we're expanding it. where anybody from anywhere sitting on their computer can tell us that they're interested in being a volunteer. We have lists that we are trying to port into this platform so that people can find them more easily. And we have a way of doing that in a distributed way. So if anyone's interested in helping to get this relief to entrepreneurs quickly, because many of the deadlines are soon, some of them are being overrun already. This is a very timely issue. We would love to have your help in that. And there's an email address on covidcap to send us your interest.
And this is capital that is moving much faster than normal, right? I saw Anthony Buglevine tweeted over the weekend, I believe, that he was seeing from foundations and other capital sources a real unusual willingness to step up and kind of cut through the usual red tape, and so that capital can get to those in need much, much faster than normal. Are you seeing this in your research?
We are seeing this. I mean, the fact that there's already 300 things and it's only been 2 weeks is quite amazing. You know, for governments to be doing this, for private foundations to be doing this, for people to, you know, there's been a whole bunch of effort to kind of relax restrictions on some of the grant making that's been going on. But what Anthony's referring to is people realizing that we are in the middle of an economic crisis. We're only at the beginning of it. The unemployment numbers in the past 2 weeks are dramatically higher than anything people expected, and they are higher now than they were during the Great Depression already, and it's only been a few weeks. And so there's a sense of urgency, and I think a lot of people are acting really fast. We are just trying to support those efforts and get the word out, because an entrepreneur can't be helped if they can't find the right resource for them and at the time that they need it to make tough decisions about what to do. I do want to mention for US entrepreneurs, the most important search you can do here right now is to search for the SBA. The SBA programs, I need to go to All Relief because I'm under global. The SBA programs are by far and large the biggest ones around at the moment. And we have links to all of the different SBA loan programs available, as well as some guides that we found that we thought were the best in terms of understanding what are the eligibility requirements and what are the implications of taking this money. As well as how do you actually apply. What's going on, this is going to be a little bit time sensitive and won't be good a few days from now. But what's going on is the bill was passed in 1 week. Friday of last week, which was April 3rd, the government announced that banks would be opening up so that people could apply for these loans. And almost none of the banks in the country were prepared to do that because they didn't have the information that they needed to make them available. And so there are a bunch of banks that are starting to get this online and collecting applications, but no one has the money yet. And it's a first come, first served pot of money that many have said is probably way too small, including my colleague, David Robinson, who's one of my wonderful colleagues at the Fuqua School of Business who studies entrepreneurship and finance, says, this $350 billion allocation is actually ridiculously small given the need. And so there's just a tremendous amount of learning that people have to do really fast. And we're hoping that this site can help many more people figure out whether this is for them.
Are all the SBA related opportunities loans, or are there any grant programs in that?
There is, they're all loans, but there is one piece of the Paycheck Protection Program that says that there's the first 10,000 that you get as a loan could become a grant for you under certain conditions. It's a little confusing. But most of them are loans. Most of them, basically, if you keep people employed, the amount you pay back goes down. So it's motivating people to keep their payroll intact. It's giving them money. It's giving them, I think, up to 250% of their payroll upfront, and then allowing them to pay it back later at a lower rate if they keep people employed. So I think that's all I wanted to show. I just wanted to, give people a sense of the kind of data that's here. We do list on each one whether it's got grants or loans. Other forms of support includes fee reductions or tax rebates or other sorts of things. that may be listed on the site. And whenever the site itself is a list of other resources, we list it there as a list. So there's actually quite a lot here. And we're growing it all the time. And we are very excited to continue to partner with others to help get the word out.
So I've heard a couple of things that you and this platform needs. You want people to help you further populate it, right? So any existing opportunities, they have the opportunity, the ability to enter those into the platform, right? Or submit
Yes.
them to you.
Yes.
And then the other one that you've mentioned in this presentation is that if there was a tech team out there that could help you kind of upgrade the platform, that would be gratefully received as well, right? Is there anything else that you could use or needs to
I
further
would
this?
love people to get the word out. Time is money when you're talking about payroll. And if you have a small business and you're not able to sell anything because you've had to shut that business down, you have a number of people that are on your payroll, and that is daily a stress. And so can people share covidcap.com with your local restaurants that you maybe you're getting takeout from right now? Maybe you can share it with your hair salons and your dry cleaners and grocery stores, and right, they think about how this could be useful to the people in your community that may not be getting our tweets, but may really need this help, because that's important. And then the other thing I would ask is, we are desperately looking for partners globally to see whether we can be helpful in getting the word out for them. Because we have a network of impact entrepreneurs, we have a lot of entrepreneurs coming to us and saying, within my community, I cannot tell what is available yet. And so we would love to be able to bridge those.
Right. So everybody who's watching this, please share with your colleagues, your friends, especially the entrepreneurs in your network, the domain name for the platform, which is again covidcap, COVID cap, CAP.com. Also share this video with them so they have more context that they can bring when they're looking at the platform. Cathy, thank you so much for taking the time out to share with us this overview of your wonderful work and initiative. Congratulations on bringing it together so quickly, and we at Impact Entrepreneur will do our very best to help get the word out about it as far as we can.
I'm so grateful for that, Laurie. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.